Oh. Didn't have picture, but they had sound, or neither? Oh!
What now?
None of that was live, so none of that was live. So now we're live, I think.
Well,
Well-
first broadcast.
Take 25. No, it's not that much. Welcome to Jumo, everybody. Power's just come back. We've been without power. We've had a bit of a nightmare of a day. I think we were completely caught unprepared, and I suppose it's our fault, or my fault, but we were caught unprepared for such a long power outage. Normally we have it for a couple of hours and the batteries and things can last, generator, etc. But it's been out for almost the whole day, since just after this morning's drive. And it's the first day we've had, look at it, it's a blue sky, a cerulean sky. It is our first clear day, and with such a beautiful evening, you can't not take advantage of whatever we might find. So I hope we're going to find something. We don't have much time. We did have the generator running, so the batteries are charged to some extent. Don't want to push it too much. As yet, no way of knowing what caused the power outage, but it was, according to the power company, an unscheduled power disruption. I guess that's a nice way of saying that the power line broke or something, or a transformer blew up. Used to have that problem in Botswana, Tanzania. People stealing oil from the power stations, from the oil coolers. So naturally, since the oil wasn't in the coolers, the generators used to overheat, and since the generators used to overheat, the electricity wasn't running. Then there was the problem in Maun once upon a time, for the whole town. And there, the town's power supply was provided by, I think, a water-cooled engine. So it was a bit of a catch-22, because the power had to be running in order to run the water pump, to pump from the river. Well, not really the river, but the borehole. And it needed the water to cool down the generator, so it needed one needed the other. So when the pump wasn't working, the water-cooled engine on the generator wasn't working to pump the water that it needed. Go figure. Solar's the way to go. It's getting a bit dark, and I had a question about giraffe. Are they nocturnal? Well, they actually neither diurnal nor nocturnal, really. A lot of the herbivores, most of the herbivores, don't have such a strict diurnal, nocturnal, what we call a circadian rhythm. Sorry, who was that question from, Tara? Robin. Thanks, Robin. Most of the herbivores have to be awake all the time. Most of the herbivores are being hunted some of the time. Something in the road up ahead. Might be an impala. Hold on. Yes, I think it's an impala. They're on Philemon's cut line heading towards Zoe's Road. Giraffe still move around at night. They still feed. They have to. They don't really lie down for that length for such a long time. They do rest. Sometimes in the heat of the day, or maybe in the middle of the night when things quieten down, they will tuck their legs under them and rest. On the odd occasion, they tuck their heads back behind them and they can maybe doze off for a while. But essentially, two things. Well, not only giraffe, but a lot of the ruminants and a lot of the herbivores that are preyed upon, they can't sleep because they're just going to get eaten. And they can't sleep because they still got to be producing, or rather processing food. So they might not have to be selecting it from the food source, like giraffe or browsers. They've got to eat leaves. So they're not necessarily taking in the food, but they're still processing it. And that's why nature has given them this ruminating stomach, so that they can chew it and they can go and digest a little bit and then come up and chew it a little bit more. Because essentially what they're eating is actually very difficult material to get nutrients out of. And the more times they can process it with the four-chambered stomach, the more nutrients they get out of it. And that means that they've got to be at it most of their life, most of their waking, most of their day. So essentially when we occasionally bump into these animals at night, they're still feeding, or they're still chewing, or they're still awake. And that's also most... You boys are posturing like... I've never seen you posturing this time of the year. Anyways. At night they have to be vigilant because they have got, especially giraffe. One of the reasons why when cats are hunting and they're stalking, especially at night, they go as low to the ground as possible, is because the lower to the ground you are, the lower your horizon, which puts almost everything higher than maybe 6 inches against the horizon. And even without a moon, even with a starry sky, or even with a cloudy night, it is still a lighter color than the background of the bush. The higher you are, the more of the background of the bush you see, so the darker it is. So with a giraffe in particular, standing as tall as they are, they're looking into a very dark background. They can't see anything, and any predator is looking into the sky from especially a crouching position. A giraffe would be silhouetted against the sky. So they've got to be vigilant. They can't really afford to go and lie down all night and sleep. We look at the impala, and that's why when it comes to their body clock, I suppose is a better way of a layman's term for the circadian rhythm. The body clock tells them that they don't really need to sleep, they just need to keep processing food. They can rest at times when it's probably most unlikely that predators are moving around. Middle of the day, middle of the night. I hope Jupiter Waterhole's up and running again. Bunch of Shelley's Franklins around here. come up with words to that. Yeah, not Tara's words for it. I want to see if somebody else randomly can come up with the same. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy that. Gary Main, we're heading east. Got post-sunset glow behind us. Better than moving into the sunset because then everything's silhouetted. So we're gonna see what we can find. Doesn't sound like there are too many game drive vehicles out this evening. Only Andrew from Cheetah Plains. Hope we've got a few of you that are watching, because I'm quite sure some people kind of gave up waiting. So Twitter and tweet and pardon? Ah, okay, there's a nice one, Heather. It's time to sing, it's time to sing, it's time to sing. I like that one. I like that. That's better than the one in the book. It's time to sing. Okay, that's what it will be from now on. Who was that, Mrs. B Heather or Alaska Heather? Alaska Heather. Heather and Sydney. Tell Sydney Georgina says hello. Bonsoir Fabienne. Comment ça va? Is that right?
Bonsoir Fabienne.
Nice to have you on board. Yes, we're the Ellies indeed. Indeed. It's a bit late already. Sun's gone down. Let's see, we'll go, this is Spum Road. Let's go down Spum Road. Get off Gary Main. Go past Treehouse Dam. So Shavinzi, I told you, didn't I? Shavinzi's in camp. We're babysitting at the moment. So Seb and I, well, Seb bumped into her this morning. Tara was sitting in FC when we were out on drive, and whispered in my ear that Shavinzi was outside the window looking at her. And we got back to camp, and Seb almost bumped into her again at the back of FC where we had our, not the original FSCs, but the old fireside chats with Safari TV just outside FC. Not the front of FC, at the back of FC. And then later today, in between, I was about just after lunch, I think. Yeah, and we were congregating outside, trying to figure out what we could do more, or what more we could do. And we saw something jump out of a guarri bush, just sort of the edge of the car park. And Seb and I went towards it, and we thought at first maybe a monkey or a baboon. And the next minute, Nick came along and said, no, it's Shavinzi. So she had just jumped out of the bush, and when we went round into the garden and looked at her from the other side, there she was sitting with something. We think she caught a bird or something. Right on the other side of the fence of the garden of Management House Management House is just next to our old FC, and the garden is fenced, especially with special little sassy. Those of you who don't know Sassy, she's a special little girl. She's a brindle Staffordshire Terrier. A gorgeous little girl. She's one of my favourite people at the moment. Gardenia. Anyways, keep Sassy in and Leopards out, from two of them apart. Oh, big kudu in the darkness over there. Okay, let me just I have this giant box of books. How many times do you see me pull out books on drive? I suppose not enough, but I still carry this giant box of books. Yeah, it's just trying to loosen the wire of the spotlight. So yeah, Sassy has to be protected at all times. Especially having to babysit leopard at the same time, just on the other side of the fence. And Sassy had an experience with one of those big ground beetles that I showed you the other night. One of the beetles that squirt acid. Remember I was telling you about that? Well, the same beetle that little Shivambalana had coming towards him the other day. And the two of them were waiting for Karoo to come back. Up on Sandy Patch, and this beetle ran to Seb. Got some nice photos of those two. So obviously Shivambalana had learned his lesson with that beetle. Well, Sassy learned her lesson. What was it? Yesterday, I think. She saw a beetle, ran after it, and of course it squirted her in the eye. So there's no better way to learn than the hard way. She won't play with one of those beetles again. Has very distinct colours, black with those yellow spots.
Yeah, pouring out. Yes? I'm over here.
Get onto the damn wall. Sounds like there's something. A couple of minutes ago there was nothing, but somehow I must have missed it. Treehouse Dam with a beautiful skyline actually silhouetted against that evening sky. Aubrey coming.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah, Aubs, what you got? Can you give me an update, please? No, I think somebody was talking over you. I didn't copy you. Maybe can you try again, please? Oh, who's that fishing? There's a silhouette of I think a water duckop. Just a little bit more to the right, along the water's edge. Look how beautiful that is. Andrew, come in. Might because we're on the dip of the dam. Let's try and get into high ground. And it's probably up on Buffelshoek, but you never know. So we'll see if I can get hold of them again. again. Sorry, Seb. Always hit that little tree stump. There's Janet in a tree down there. Deb, hello Deb in Connecticut. What breed is Sassy? Sassy is a Staffy, a brindle Staffy, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, Staffordshire Terrier. Gone. Andrew, come in. Aubrey, come in.
I'll go, Mark.
Okay, Orbs, I'm copying you nicely now. Sorry, what is the update there? What have you got?
Yeah,
Okay, copy. Thanks. You'll put me on standby for next year. Ngala. Which Ngala you got? Confirm that's Matimbas or Kuhuma? Never mind. Fan Road. Oh, still chipping and chopping, so I didn't not say too much. Just that cable. Thingy. For some reason it's been chippy choppy. I'm quoting there, quote unquote. I'm chippy, the stream is choppy. Let's hope we're both chippy right now. And there's no more choppy. Welcome back. Those of you joining us this evening after a rather rough day. Nice to get out on a beautiful evening. It's perhaps one of the first truly summer evenings that we're having. We've had spring evenings, but tonight's one of those really truly summer kind of evenings. Temperature's perfect. Don't need a jacket or a pullover or even a t-shirt underneath, or don't even need a short sleeve shirt. The world is room temperature right now for us, and that means that there ought to be some rather spectacular things making an appearance after days of grey and cloud and rain and cool temperatures. Here's that lily that we saw this morning. I was going to come by and see if the sun did anything to it, but no, it's going to be a while. That's one. I think that's a candy striper. It is. It's got very red stripes on the edges of those petals as they're about to open. So I'm hoping Seb or Tara maybe are going to come by in the next day or two, because it's not going to be here for long. But in a day or two, those flowers will be open, and they'll be open for a day or two, and they're going to be gone again. But it's a little bit bigger than it was this morning. Tomorrow might be more so. It needed the sun today too. Is a Lagomorph. Anybody know what a Lagomorph is? I'll show you a Lagomorph. It must be still in the road around the bend. No, well, maybe it's not as around the bend as I thought. There you are. Ah, you're gone. Okay. Looks a bit scruffy. There you are again, hiding. Oh, that's a it's learnt about us humans, that Lagomorph. Commonly known as a scrub hare. But I have no doubt we'll find another one somewhere along our travels tonight. Is there anybody out there? There wasn't enough sunshine to warm it up enough to bring out all the life that I thought might be emerging. There's another lagomorph, youngster. Oops, get it. Oh, they're getting wise, they're hiding in the darkness. I have to be honest. We always say scrub hare, and I'm not too sure if the Cape hare occurs here. It might do, and evidently quite hard to distinguish between the two. Okay, I think it's disturbed enough. I read an interesting article once. That the average length of scrub hare's ears varies in relation to its proximity to the coast, and that those further away from the coast have marginally longer ears than those closer to the coast. Why that is, I'm not sure. I can only speculate. Maybe guess that who in British Columbia? Terry. Hello, Terry. Do giraffe find a soft spot to have their babies? I don't think so, Terry. I think they have their babies when labour happens, and they happen to go into labour and they get born. I can't say no for certain, and I can't say yes for certain. I have no way of knowing. I have no way of I guess it would be an interesting study for someone to follow enough pregnant giraffe and find out whether they do select a particular substrate, whether they select a particular substrate to carve. Interesting question. Thanks for that, Terry. Cape Scrub, Spring and Natal Red. You get Penny, we don't. Not here, we don't get Spring, and we don't get the Natal. We don't get Natal Red. We might get Cape and Scrub. You know, one of the only differences between Cape and Scrub that you can actually tell for certain is the groove on the incisors, because the pelt is almost identical. You can't really tell from pelt, as far as I know. Can't really tell from pelt color. But we don't have the terrain here for spring hares, and I have to be honest, I've never seen the Natal Red. But I think the Cape has 2 grooves on each incisor versus no grooves, or maybe 1 groove on the incisor of the scrub hare. I must. Oh, interesting. Heather's saying, looks like our scrub hares are getting, there's a Gallagher. Oh, running away, jumping away. Actually, there are 2 bush babies in there. I have to find you another one. Heather's saying that as our scrub hares are getting their summer coats, her hares are getting their winter coats. Sorry, I was about to quote that and quote Heather. Then I saw the bush babies and forgot what Heather said verbatim, so didn't want to misquote her. But thanks, Heather. Yeah, I guess that's why they're looking a little bit scruffy right now, leaving little tufts of hair around for some of the swallows to line their nests. Oh, here's a lot of, this is something quite unusual. Poor gardenia flower. Remember we've been talking about these scarabs that we've been getting, these what we call rose beetles, and I think you call them June bugs in the States. They're like a scarab, but they're not quite a scarab. But up there's probably a couple of hundred of them crowding around one particular gardenia flower. And they obviously have a soft spot for the scent of a gardenia. Look at that. They're absolutely mauling this poor flower. Now, it's possible, I suppose, that they're a pollinator. They are not far removed from the flower chafers, the cetonid beetles, and it's possible that maybe they're actually eating the petal of the flower. I'm not too sure. It's the first time I've ever seen this. Especially this particular species of beetle crowding the flower on this gardenia. What was that? Oh, it's a frog. In fact, there's another flower lower down that's also completely covered in beetles. Something making a noise down there.
Frogs.
Oh, is that a frog? That should be a nice thing to do. This is the drainage line. You know where the elephants dig on Central Road? We're on Nyala Road South at the moment, almost at Central Road Junction. And just below us in the drainage line there's about a 15-foot drop. Is where the elephants dig for water in that lovely patch of green grass. There you can see one petal of the gardenia flower almost putting up a white flag of submission. And these beetles are just ravishing this flower. Must be the scent that's just driving them crazy. Here's another one there. It's the first time I've ever seen this. A feeding frenzy, or a gardenia orgy, or just a feeding frenzy. Worse than sharks. Okay. Have fun, Beatles. Your lives will be short-lived. Only because they are short-lived Beatles. I used to feed them to my little owl Who 2 years ago when I had little Who. It was 2 years ago already. November 2009. We're getting into 2012 soon. Interesting date coming up next week. 11/11/11. I believe there are a couple of horror movies with the 11/11/11 theme that have just come out. Hello, Dr. Rita. There's an interesting question from Florida, from our very own Dr. Rita, PhD. Oh, there's an interesting phenomenon. See Venus right next to another. We're gone. Anyway. How can we, why can we leads in the fun again? That should be my name. A little bit better. No, I don't need to be a little bit better. I want to be better, 100% better. I don't know what we can do. I don't know what we can do. I don't know why the signal. You see that bright, look at that bright Venus. Even right through that tree we can see it as it's blinking on the top left of your picture. That's actually next to a star, and I think it's next to one of the stars of Scorpio at the moment, which means Venus is in Scorpio. And the only star that, well, I don't think, no, it's definitely not Mercury, but what we can see, and if I'm going to stop now and have a look at it, you can actually see a slight reddish tinge to it. And above it I can see the tail of the Scorpion, and we should be able to see it through here. I don't know where Mercury is supposed to be, but there on the right, if we can just go out a little bit, Seb.
Sorry?
Just zoom out a little bit just to get a bit of bush there. There's also another star of this back of the Scorpion above there. So those two stars, well, the one on the right, the very bright one, is Venus. And to the left we've got a reddish star. That is my nemesis. See, it's a little bit pinkish, although it is pretty low down. Where are my binoculars here? A second. Might see a bit more if I. See, unfortunately it's not dark enough. We've got a first quarter moon directly above us, and it's quite bright, and it's the post sunset glow, because we're looking directly into the western sky right now. It's still quite bright, but I think that's Antares, and which directly sort of, if you had to break it down, anti-Aries, or the opposition of Mars, and it's the star in the middle of the back of Scorpio. And we can't make it out much. Those few stars on the top right of our screen, I don't know what they are. They're part of some lesser constellation, maybe behind Scorpio. Anyways, let's go on a little bit more. I know I'm just gonna try and run a little bit later than normal, because we have missed out on most of the afternoon. As you can see, it's shutter speed is very slow, but I think I interrupted myself looking at them. Yes, Tara. Hello Tom in Scotland, thank you for that. Thank you. Bless me, thank you. Tom's saying, yeah, the scrub or cape, longer and heavier, and one's got white underneath and one's only got white on the. All very well, Tom, but out in the field you're going to try and see that? Not too easy. And when you don't have one against the other, it's hard to. Whoa! Look who just jumped on my dashboard. Hitching a ride. We better take you to the dam, child. Looks like a big female. It came out of nowhere. I just saw it land on the dashboard. This is a very, very wise creature, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to use this for my checklist. Looks like a pea. I'm not even going to touch it right now because I've got really dry, bad, probably a bit greasy hands, and I don't want to. This child can absorb all the nonsense on my fingers through its skin, but it is sitting on the edge of the dashboard. The plywood. It's actually a plywood cover we put over the dashboard to hide the microphone. Wonder if this frog knows that I'm on Central Road and I just said it was a frog. Well, I haven't told you what kind of frog. So you got to tell me what kind of frog. I'm going to put it at the dam. Alright. I guess we're going to have to call it a day. What was Tom saying before? I won't use this for my checklist. Comedy of errors today. Great tree frog. That's what it is. It's a great tree frog, also known as a foam nest tree frog. It might be a bit bright. There we go. That's a bit better. Oh yes, the scrub hairs are marginally longer and heavier, but when you only have one and you don't have the other, it's hard to compare the two. But I just know that one of the ways is and you can never get them to open their mouth to see their incisors. But it's something to remember. Scrub hair's got completely white underparts, and the cape hair's only got a white rump. I think that's what Tom was saying. Thanks, Tom. Don't worry about the idea of this great tree frog, foam nest tree frog, and I'm hoping it's going to jump off when we go past the dam. I think it somehow knows that we're about to go that way. There's no water around here. We know that we're up and running. It's a good thing. We know that everything's come back again after this huge power outage that we've had. So with a bit of luck, with all the luck that we have, we should be able to start on time tomorrow morning, 5:30 Central African time. It will be Tara here. I will be on camera, Seb in final control, and by all intents and purposes it looks like we're going to have a lovely clear day tomorrow. In fact, we think we're going to have a really fantastic day. We've got Shivinzi, probably Shivambalana somewhere around camp. Karula's gone off again, leaving us to babysit. That's interesting. Let's hope we get some lion coming over, or some wild dog or something. So do join us again tomorrow, and thanks for joining us this evening. I know it's been short. We have had a lot of issues to deal with today, with power outages and stuff. Only the tip of the iceberg. Thanks everybody. My name is Mark, Seb on camera, Tara in final control, from all of us at Djuma. Bye bye.
Hi everybody, this is Tara in Final Control. Thank you very much for joining us, eventually getting out there on drive, but seeing a couple of nice things this evening. So we will be heading out 5:30 Central Africa time. I will be heading out and seeing what we can go and find tomorrow. Please do remember there is a fireside chat tomorrow evening as well, so we will be shortening the afternoon drive a little bit just to get the batteries back on charge. We're going to see how long it takes to have a chat with the people who we are donating the money to that was raised by you guys for the rhinos. So if you would like to join us for that, that'll be 7:30 Central Africa time tomorrow evening. So we do have the two representatives from the two organisations who will be filling us in on what the money's going to be spent on and why they're doing what they're doing, and also giving you information on how to donate if you'd like to do that directly. So it's the Rhino Orphanage and the Sabi Sands Anti-Poaching Patrol. So if you would like to join us for that, then please do, 7:30 Central Africa time. Otherwise, our next live safari is 5:30 Central Africa time, and I'm hoping we're still going to be babysitting tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed. It was such a lovely sight to see Shivinzi, and she's been around all day by the looks of it, which is wonderful. So take care everybody, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.